New question, the member from Haliburton-Kawartha Lakes-Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care. The demand for long-term care beds is becoming desperate in my riding. In fact, Central East Lynn continues to have the highest ratio of need to available beds in the entire province. There is now a wait list of over 1,700 people in need of long-term care beds in Haliburton-Kawartha Lakes-Brock. That's double what it was a couple of years ago. And in Peterborough area, their number is now almost 2,900. The wait lists are so bad that a large group of concerned Ontarians drove down to Queen's Park this past winter to protest the government's inaction. So, Speaker, when will the minister finally act to address the crisis in long-term care?
Minister of Health, Long-Term Care.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And we are acting, and we recognize that there are parts of the province where we need to do more. We need to ensure that the capacity that exists reflects the needs of that local population. That's part of the reason why we're engaged right now in capacity planning across this province through the LHINs to look at a number of issues, including the capacity in long-term care. But since the member referenced Central East, again, we've built more than 10,000 long-term care beds since coming into office in 2003. Mr. Speaker, including many of them in Central East. 75 beds at Craigley Nursing Home.
Member from Bruce Grey.
150 new beds at Yehong Centre. 100 new beds at Scarborough Finch, Mr. Speaker. 128 at Helena Care for Seniors, also in Central East. In Central East, 160 further beds in Mong Chong Foundation. We know that there's more work to be done. We're redeveloping 30,000 beds. We're already in the process of completing 13,000 of those 30,000, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary.
Well, the fact is the 10,000 beds number that the minister often likes to take credit for was actually the capacity started under the previous PC government. And so here we are 13 years later, 13 years of Liberal government, and there's no new capacity plan. We've been calling on the government for new long-term care beds for years, but the minister is just sitting on his hands. What's the point of having long-term care system that Ontarians can't even get into? They're dying on the wait list. So my question again is to the minister. When is he finally going to respond to the suffering families and address the out-of-control crisis in the long-term care beds in our province?
Be seated, please. Be seated, please. Thank you. Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to recognize that what we're confronting here in Ontario is the same as what is being confronted across this country, across North America, and indeed in the world, an aging population that in many respects is aging more healthily, Mr. Speaker, but also that they are having changing needs and needs that we need to make sure that we are responding to. And that includes, for example, the investments that we're making in support for individuals living with dementia. That also includes, of course, in recognizing that those in home care, in long-term care homes, tend to be older now, and they tend to have more complex conditions. So we're investing about $50 million annually in behavioral supports for individuals in long-term care. We're dramatically increasing our investments in home and community care, in the order of about 5% per year. But we're focusing not only on new beds that we've created in long-term care and the redevelopment, but investments in the important resources that they need in those homes.